is Mary with Mary Making Crafts, and welcome to my channel. Today's video is going to be a WIP and chat. WIP standing for work in progress and chat. So I am just going to chat with you and keep you company for a while. You can do whatever it is you like. If you are running some errands or walking the dog, or maybe you're cleaning some things around the house, or maybe you're also diamond painting. Whatever the case may be, welcome. You are welcome here, and let's just kind of chat it out and talk about things. It has been quite a while since I filmed a WIP and chat, and I'll kind of go into some detail in this WIP and chat about why. So I won't get into it right now, but it's been like a month, y'all. So we got a lot to talk about. First thing I want to do is show you where I'm working on this canvas and what I'm using. So let me move my cover minders here, and you can see I'm working right below this little cat and this boot that I showed you I did those crystals on. So I'm actually working, here's the big image, I'm working right here on this pumpkin. So that is where this little spot is focused, and everything else I'm using, all of my cover minders. This one is a trash drill cover minder. It is a cute little pumpkin bucket. I love it so much. That is from BellaArtDeNicole, as well as this one, and as well as my tray. So I don't have the stopper and the lid right here right now, but this is the tray that I am going to be working with today. And actually, I just got some new orange trays. I want to use an orange one today, so I'll be right back. I'm going to be painting with a lot of green, so that's why I want to use the orange one so I have a contrast. So one sec. Okay, so here is the orange tray, and I can show you now the lid and the stopper. So here's my little stopper and lid, but I'm just going to be working with just that part of it because I don't need the stopper and lid while I'm working necessarily. If I'm working with a big tray, so this is a small, if I'm working with the big tray, I always use the lid to cover it before I pour my drills in, but I like the baby trays. My hands like that shape. Anyway, I also have two ButterflyEffectWares pens. This one has a metal 9-placer that I am working with, that I'm kind of testing out the waters on. And then this one has just a plastic 4, and I can't do metal on both sides. It just made it too heavy for me. So I just have a metal single on this one and a metal multi on this one, and then we flip-flop and they're both plastic. So anyway, and then I'm also using my Harvest Spice putty. This is just the putty that I made at home. And I'll show you. I had way too much fun with designing like the colors that went into this one. You could see like that marbling there. I don't know. Thought it was super fun. A little more bland on that side, but that is the putty that I'm using today. And a lot of times I'll just take it out and leave it out so I can smell it. But anyway, so I have it up there, and yeah, I'm going to be working on this section today. I'll probably kind of focus more on this bottom, so I can try to tilt you here one sec. Okay, that's a little bit better now. So yeah, I'm going to be working probably in these greens down here at the bottom first. So yeah, I'm going to go ahead and get started. This is the Elizabeth Ward storage containers. All of the shops that I've mentioned, as well as these, are linked in the description down below if you are curious. But look how pretty the colors are together. Love it. I'm not good at shaking with my left hand. I'm so much better at it with my right because I am right-handed. These drills are super stuck together too, so I have to pour like more than I need. Anyway, what else? Oh, so today, as I'm filming this, it is Monday, October 17th. And as of yesterday afternoon, I hit 1,000 subscribers. So I started this channel 4.5 months ago, and I cannot believe that there are now over 1,000 of you here. So I just want to say thank you first and foremost. I really appreciate those of you who are here. And if you are new here, I would love it if you subscribe and you could hang out with me. I have a lot of stuff in the works right now and a lot of things I'm kind of thinking about in terms of, giving back to the community and how I can do that appropriately and, share my love of the craft with you. And yeah, I'm thinking about a lot of different ways. One of the things I will tell you is I do have a 1,000 subscriber giveaway coming soon. I didn't want to do the $50 Diamond Art Club giveaway like I did last time. I wanted to do something a little different. So I'm not going to announce it just yet because I really want to make sure I have some supplies that are actually coming in for it. And what I mean by that is I am going to be putting together a few prize packs and making it so that 5 people can win the giveaway instead of just 1. So, stay tuned for that. It'll be a little bit before that video comes out, but I promise you it is in the works and I am super excited about it. But yeah, I'm really thrilled. I know I had also, just in other diamond painting news, and then I will stop, the diamond painting thing and really get into the meat of it all, right? The whip and chat part. But I mean, I'm chatting. We're here. So diamond painting news, though, one thing I had been kind of tossing around the idea of, is very much a workshop project right now. I just wanted to see what your thoughts were on creating a Patreon. I know I had a few subscribers ask me in the past whether or not I had a Patreon or would be opening one. And I really couldn't decide because while I think Patreon is great, and let me just really quickly, I'll explain what Patreon is. So Patreon is a platform where you can basically subscribe or become a member essentially and have just a little bit more personal access to me. I could offer you perks and benefits to joining that, and it would be like a monthly fee. And there's no contract, so you can sign up and sign off of it as often as you please. So it's not like you would, you're locked into some contract or anything, but it's like a monthly donation that you would be giving to me that basically just, supports my craft and supports the channel. Because I will say, doing this takes not only a lot of time, it's a labor of love, but, a lot of effort, but it also costs a lot, just to keep bringing, new kits into the picture that I want to show you guys and, keeping things fresh and new. I definitely spend more than I should. So I think, that's the idea behind it. But, what I never want to do is make it so that anyone who cannot afford that, because I have been there. I have been living paycheck to paycheck. I know what it's like to really struggle financially and to not be able to, donate to something like that. So I fully understand. And I don't want anybody to feel like they're absolutely, totally, completely missing out on, anything super exciting. But at the same time, I want to provide some benefits that, are worth it for people to be members on Patreon. So I think I'm kind of torn because I never want you guys to have to pay to access me, right? So that's my dilemma. But what I would like to do at some point, if I did do a Patreon, and I'm not even sure how this would work, it might get to be a little too tedious depending on how many of you guys sign up. But I would absolutely love to have, do a little putty of the month, and I would make a putty and make a homemade cover minder that I would send to each of you monthly if you were in the top tier. So that top tier is like, I think $20 a month for the donation. So I don't know. Like I said, I've been toying around with the idea, but it's very much just we're workshopping it, okay? So nothing is definite, nothing is final. And it would, like, even if I did start that, it would probably be the new year before I did. Because there's just, there's just too much going on around the holidays. I don't want to add to that. I don't want to add to the hullabaloo. I'll just say that. But speaking of the holidays, I do have something in the works with another creator, and I'm really, really excited. We're going to be announcing that really soon, so stay tuned. Just a little something fun and exciting around Thanksgiving time. Hint, hint. That's all I'll say about that. But yeah, I'm really excited about that. That's going to be really fun. So yeah, stay tuned. I'm hoping that'll maybe come out this week. We'll see. I am working with said creator to make sure that we're ready to go and we're aligned before I, spoil anything. So, mom's the word here. Anyway, that's all I have as far as diamond painting news. Yeah, that's where I stand. I've been really enjoying doing that Zodiac series. I can't wait to film more of those, but until we come back from our honeymoon, I'm not going to be able to. So, speaking of our honeymoon, whew, okay, let me just get into, first off, I was saying, YouTube is definitely a labor of love. I'm really enjoying doing it, and I have absolutely no complaints. But one thing I will say is I know that my whip and chats are my most popular videos. However, I find that sometimes they're the toughest ones to get up on the channel, and it's not because they're difficult to film, right? Because here I am. I mean, I'm just sitting here diamond painting, which is something I've been wanting to do for, over a week now and haven't been able to sit down and do. So I will say that's really nice, is that I can diamond paint while I'm filming it. But I guess the disadvantage here is that I like to go through and I have to make sure I edit this video if, I had to get up and, use the restroom or deal with the cats or whatever it is that I had to do. I have to edit this video. So the time that it takes me to film it, it takes that long and a little bit longer to edit it as well. So I can typically, sit here and listen while I am diamond painting, but I have to stop and take breaks and continue editing the video. So that's just something to keep in mind. It's not just the filming, it's the editing. And then also every time I put a video up on YouTube, we have to answer a couple questions and then, make sure that the content is, rated, like if it's not for kids, etc. And then we have to put in any tags that we want to include with the video. We write our descriptions for those videos. So there's just a lot that goes into it. Plus I make a thumbnail for each of my videos that is unique to that video. Because I think that is a really nice personal touch. But all of that stuff takes time. So, an hour-long whip and chat, you're probably looking at about, I would say, 3 hours worth of work just to get that, up on YouTube. So it's just something to keep in mind. I know it's easy to be impatient and be like, where is she? But I'm here. I'm very much here. I just feel like I haven't had a few moments to really just sit down with y'all and talk. So I'm happy I have that time now. I just finished my work day here on Monday, and David headed out to run to the grocery store really quickly for us, and he is also getting his hair cut before we leave. So that's good. At least, I'm not taking away from any time with him, so that's good. Anyway, so yeah, that's, like I said, no excuse. It's just, I'm just letting you know kind of the process and what it looks like, because it's so much more than than just an hour-long video. What else was I going to say? Okay. Yeah. So since it's been so long, I feel like I would just kind of explain. So, Friday after Labor Day was the last time I filmed a whip and chat, and consequently was also the last time, that I was able to, because that is when David got sick. So I remember saying in that WIP chat that David wasn't feeling well, and that we were going to kind of check on him and see how he was doing. Well, he did end up having the C word. So what we did was we quarantined him to the basement. And we have like 3 levels in our house, so it was pretty easy to just kind of send him down there, you know, on his merry way. And then I was just kind of looking after him, because our basement has a full bathroom and a full bedroom down there, as well as like an entertainment room and like a wet bar. So there's not a kitchen, like a microwave or anything, but there's a whole wet bar down there. So he can, like, you know, we have a coffee maker, like a Keurig, that's down there for guests who stay. So like he was able to make his coffee down there, all the things. So what I really only needed to bring down to him were like clothes and food. So that's what I did all week. And it, like, you know, I love him. He's my husband. So I'm going to do everything I can to take care of him. But it was exhausting, because I think what's crazy is, like, you don't realize how much someone helps you around the house until they're not able to. And oh my gosh. So like David is great. Like, he does our litter boxes. He takes out the trash. Like, there's just a lot of things he does around the house. He does dishes. And so without him doing those things, it was me stuck doing all of them and working full time and taking care of him. So it was just a lot, and I was exhausted. And then I, you know, ran myself down so much that I ended up getting sick. And when I say I got sick, I was sick. So it was really, really miserable. So that was about a week later. David started feeling better, and then I started getting sick. And I had a fever for about 3 days straight. And finally I said, something's got to give. Like, I did take the test and I was negative. So I don't understand how in the world he tested positive, I tested negative. I really don't know. I don't know how all that works. But we did try our best to stay away from each other. So if I got sick from something else, I don't know. I did go out to sing karaoke with some friends on the Saturday night before I started feeling sick. So I kind of have a feeling that that's where I got it. It was at that bar. But I don't feel like I was sitting like extra close to anyone. I don't know. I'm just not sure. I don't know what happened, but either way, I got sick. So then we had to switch roles, and David had to take care of me. And it was about a solid 2 weeks before I really felt like myself and felt like I could, like, get back on the saddle with filming and editing. And sorry, I didn't mean to hit you guys. But yeah, with like filming and editing, because it just takes a lot. It's, something you have to stay focused on and stay consistent. And consistency is my, the hardest part. I think you'll notice about my channel, I don't have particular days where videos come out because I don't do well with structure. If I try to commit to a structure, I will shut down. It's just how my brain works. So I'm sorry that, I can't always provide consistency. I do try to do a weekly WIP and chat. It's just, this is my first one in a month because, life gets in the way. So I know you guys understand that. I know you're here, and I see you and I hear you. And by the way, when I let you guys know in a community post that I was feeling sick, thank you guys all so much for all the well wishes. That was so sweet of you. I really appreciate it. So I just want to make sure I say thank you for that, because it felt good to know that y'all were thinking of me, and it sucked. It was bad. Anyway, yeah, so that was my September. That was like the whole month of September was just sickness. Anyway, so it was taking a while. And then, of course, I've got my back issues that I've kind of been talking about, and I'll get into those. But, I don't think that helped either. I'm going to do a little something to move the light there because I had a glare on it and I couldn't see. But yeah, I feel like I really, I don't know, I feel like I've kind of regressed on the back issues lately, so that kind of sucks. But like I said, I'll share that in just a minute. Where am I? So I always take notes because I don't want to make sure that, like, I want to make sure that I don't miss anything. Because it's easy to miss things. It's easy to forget about things and I just try to make sure I didn't forget anything. So, yeah. But yeah, that sickness it knocked me out, man. It was a long time. But, I was also going to mention that work has been absolutely crazy. So I've mentioned this in a few whip and chats before too, but I'll say it again because it's upon us now. So our busy season is like July and August, and then after that, we've actually been busy, not because of the food itself, like the industry, but because we are putting in a new system at work. So this new system is it's business wide, so it affects everyone, not just supply chain. I work in supply chain, but it affects literally all of us. And I feel like it has just been, it's been exhausting to say the least. I feel like we have just been nonstop in training sessions, and I still don't have a clue as to like what I'm looking at or what we're doing when the new system comes online. And our new system comes online on November 1st. I am gone 10/21 through 10/31. Like, I am gone October 21st to the end of the month, and then I'm going to come back to a whole new system. Somebody else is supposed to be covering my shift, my work, but like, oh my God, I have no idea what I'm coming back to. So that's scary. That's very scary. So I don't know. I'm worried. I don't know what that's supposed to look like, and I'm supposed to figure it out in the next 3 days. So that pressure and that stress is very much there. I'm getting really worried about work. And I am doubting myself because I'm like, why in the world did we pick this as the time to go on our honeymoon? We're also going to be on our honeymoon during my birthday. So that will be nice to not be working and we'll be in Venice, Italy during my birthday. So that'll be really cool. And, don't mind if I do kind of situation. But can't complain there. But I think like leading up to travel, I am always just a disaster. Like, I'm a mess. I don't know. I get really nervous. I get really scared that I don't have everything. I start to like panic about really mundane, stupid stuff. Don't know why I do it, but I do. It is what it is. But yeah, it just happens. But anyway, so getting back into talking about, how I usually structure my whip and chats, just so, in case this is your first one, how I usually structure my whip and chats is I typically, we'll do diamond painting news first, and then I talk about the prior week, like whatever I did the prior week, and then I talk about what I have, what plans I have for the upcoming week. So that is what I'm going to go ahead and do. And we'll get started here with last week. So a week ago today was Monday, October 10th. And yeah, that was just a typical work from home day for me. And one of the things I also did was planned the menu for a party that we had this past Saturday. So we had this random party, and my brilliant self, I don't know why I thought this would be a good idea to like get together with all my friends like the weekend before we leave for our honeymoon. That was not my brightest moment. I'm not sure why I chose to do that, but I really wanted my friends and I, like the whole goal of this party, I kid you not, was to try to get one last weekend outside where we could, enjoy the fire pit, where we could, relax and, right? Like, that's what I wanted to do. I just wanted to enjoy the fire pit. Well, guess what? it was too cold. Like, it was way too cold. So we ended up, I'll explain the rest of the party later. But basically, we really wanted all to get, to all get together again, but then also to spend time outside, and we couldn't. So that was a bummer. But anyway, so I planned the menu, and here's why I did it. I feel like every time I have get-togethers with my friends, it ends up being like, we do kind of a potluck situation, which is great. Like, I love a potluck. I love, tasting everybody's food and trying different things. But what I didn't feel like doing was organizing it and being like, well, John is bringing, mashed potatoes. So Susan, like, can you bring plates? Like, it's just too much. And I was like, I can't. And me being the Scorpio that I am, I love to have control over a situation. So I said, you know what, you guys? I was like, how about I just make like a taco night? And when I was thinking taco night, I was like, that'll be easy. I'll just like throw some stuff together and like, put it out and we'll have a really nice taco night. Well, y'all know I always go above and beyond, and I'm just extra like that, and I just have to be, and I don't know why I am the way that I am. Like, as soon as I started planning this menu, I'm like, why am I like this? So I planned this menu on Monday, and I'm like, if I went to a taco party, what meats would I expect? I even like texted a few friends and asked them this question because I was like, I don't know what to make. And so I started with ground beef. I was like, okay, taco meat, ground beef, it's super easy to make. That's what, like, hard shell tacos, that's what you do. And then I was like, all right, well, then I want to provide like a soft shell taco option, right? So I found this recipe for sheet pan fajitas, and y'all, this recipe was good. It was good. I need to put a link to that recipe. It was delicious, and I made it like exactly like the recipe told me to. No regrets. It was fantastic. I would make it again. We still have some leftovers of it, and that is what's for dinner tonight. Like, I'm excited to go eat it again. But then I was like, it's kind of your whole, like, if you give a mouse a cookie. Have you ever watched that or read that book? It's like a children's book, and it's basically telling about, like, it's like a cautionary tale basically about, giving them an inch and you have to run a mile. Like if you give a mouse a cookie, he's going to want a glass of milk. And if he has a glass of milk, he's going to want a straw. And so it's like, I started doing that with this taco night. I started giving a mouse a cooking it. Oh my God. Words are hard. Anyway, I don't know why I just started talking really fast, but slow down, Mary, slow down. Anyway, so that's what I started doing with this stupid taco party, because I was like, well, if we have tacos, well, we need like rice and beans, and then we have to have like chips as an appetizer. And I was like, ooh, I could make carnitas too, because I make good carnitas, and I don't claim to be the person who makes them. It's really just a recipe that I follow from this keto cookbook that I love. And if you're thinking about trying keto, he's my favorite guy to follow. I am not keto right now. Thinking about going back to it after the honeymoon because I feel like crap and I've gained a lot of weight, but I digress. Anyway, I'll try to link. I'm like, I need to make a note to link that book, to link that like recipe, not the recipe, but to the cookbook, because it's really good. And then what else? I said I was going to leave a link to something else, but I don't remember what it was. I'll when I'm editing, I'll remember. But anyway, so I ended up with this elaborate meal plan. And then, of course, David and I were like, well, we got to go grocery shopping because we needed to go get all the food for it. Well, I can't even tell you how much money I spent. We had 10 people over, and it was possibly a dozen because we had some friends coming in kind of late from the airport, so they weren't sure if they were coming, and they didn't make it because they didn't get in until like 9 o'clock. But anyway, yeah, so I was like planning for anywhere from 10 to 12 people coming, and that's a lot of food. Like, you have to prep a lot of food. It was a lot. Anyway, I'll get into all that prep, but basically on Tuesday, so that was Monday, just planning. Then Tuesday, I worked from home, and I did that channel rebrand, which I think most of you guys have seen. I'm really happy with it. I think it turned out okay. Definitely, uses teal, which is my favorite color, of course. So yeah, I feel pretty good about it. I feel like it looks nice. That also might be a work in progress. Like, I might change something on it, but I don't know. I think I like it how it is right now. I do think it is really fun when people kind of rebrand a little bit for the holidays. So I am thinking maybe I'll try to do that, but if it doesn't happen, it's not a big deal. But I really love Christmas time, so I'm like, I feel like I need to do a little bit of rebranding for the holiday. Anyway, yeah, so I did that on Tuesday, and then after work and after I rebranded my channel, David and I left around 6 o'clock to go to Costco. We ended up having to go to Jewel, which is like our local grocery store. They're owned by like the Albertsons brand, so it's just, they're different everywhere. Anyway, so we went to 3 different places because we ended up at Aldi as well. So it was a lot. It was a lot of shopping, and we spent way too much money. And I was like, what I should have said is, everybody give me, $5 or $10 for all this food, because we spent well over a couple $100s to feed everybody. But it's okay. They're my friends and I love them. So it is what it is. Anyway, it sunk cost at this point, but anyway, they, and I know that they appreciated it too, but anyway, it was raining like crazy when we went to do our, like, what am I looking at? Tees. It's hard to talk and change colors. I'm bad at that. Anyway, it was raining like crazy. We went to get our groceries. I came back and we were soaked. We just ate a quick dinner, and then I came upstairs and did more filming and more editing. Like I said, I have to be really consistent, and I have to kind of push to fit, videos and editing into my schedule nowadays. Like, I used to work a little bit less, and so I'm, putting in some extra hours at work. It's just really hard. Like, it's hard to find that time and fit it all in, like I used to. So it kind of sucks, because I wish I could, like, give you more content. Like, I wish I could give you more of my time. It's hard though when you work. But yeah, what was I gonna say? So that was Tuesday night, and then into Wednesday. So on Wednesday, I work in the office on Wednesdays and Thursday. Every Wednesday and Thursday, I am in the office, no matter what. So on Wednesday, I worked in the office, and it was my first day back in like 4 weeks, because, well, first David got sick, and then I got sick, and then actually the week prior, I had felt okay, but I sounded awful. And my boss was like, you sound terrible. You should just stay home because people are going to be nervous. And I was like, yeah, I agree. I was like, I sound god awful. Like, I don't feel bad, but I sound terrible, because I was still pretty congested. I still am a little bit congested, but nothing like I was before. So yeah, he was like, just stay home. So it had been a literal like 4 weeks, like a month since I'd been in the office. So just kind of like breaking back into that routine was really tough, you guys. Like, I don't know. It made me really tired, but it was a lot. It took all of my energy. And then I went to physical therapy. So that's what I was going to kind of get into with the like physical therapy and my back. Oh my gosh. So I feel like it's very touch and go. Like, I never know what's going to kind of set my back off and what's not. I did really well on Saturday. I was really sore by the end of the day, but, you know, I was up on my feet for a really long time. But that also just made me really, really nervous about, well, how, like, I was talking with my doctor on Wednesday, and I was just like, I don't know what to do. Like, we're supposed to go to Paris. We're supposed to be walking around, and, you know, we're going to be walking around everywhere. We're going to Paris, Venice, and Rome. And, like, it's all walking. Like, when you're a tourist, that's what you do. Like, you don't have a car, so you walk around and you see the sights and you take tours and you do all the things. And now I'm like, okay, well, clearly I can't stay on my feet and I can't walk that much, so what do I do? And so I was like, I was low-key kind of panicking. But he told me, he suggested that I go to my general practitioner to see if she would prescribe me with a few things to help make me a little bit more comfortable. He was suggesting like a steroid to help with the inflammation, and then a muscle relaxer at night so that I like don't wake up so stiff in the mornings. So I was like, yeah, you're right. I should probably, you know, go the non-natural route just to kind of make me a little bit more comfortable in the long run. So when I got home on Wednesday night, I did check to see if my doctor had any appointments. Sure enough, she had one appointment before we left for our honeymoon, and it was this past Friday at 1 p.m. And I was like, well, I'm supposed to be working, but I'm going to that. Like, I have to. So I took that appointment, which was good. So I did, you know, get in to see my doctor. But yeah, so my physical therapy, what it was originally supposed to be was I had hurt my back like mid-August. And it was 4 weeks of 2 times a week physical therapy, and then 4 weeks of once a week physical therapy. So this was my last once a week appointment, but my doctor is having me come back one more time this upcoming week just to like make sure we're good to go. But yeah, so we're almost done with it. We'll see. I will say, you know, it is feeling better. I have to be really mindful about how long I sit and how long I stand. So I can't stand for too long. I can't sit for too long. I can't walk for too far. Like, I have to be just really careful and really mindful. If I sit for more than a couple of hours, I'm in a ton of pain, which makes me very nervous for our flight, but I'll get into that later. Yeah, so that was Wednesday. And yeah. Oh, when I came home on Wednesday night. So whenever I come home from therapy, I'm either absolutely beat and I don't want to do anything at all, or I have a bunch of energy because I feel good. And in this particular case, I had a bunch of energy. I'm like, if you are anything like me and you got that ADHD mentality, that hyper-focus brain, when your brain goes into hyper-focus overdrive mode, you have to take advantage of it. And if you don't take advantage of it, you are a fool. So I was like, I have to take advantage of this opportunity right now. And y'all, our pantry, like, we had went and bought all of this food for the party, and I had no place to put the pantry stuff because our pantry was just overflowing with junk and like old food. I hadn't been through it since we moved in, and we moved in a year ago. Like, that is a problem. And so I was like, okay, I desperately need to go through this pantry. That's what I'm going to do. So I spent 4.5 hours, and I went to bed at some ungodly hour. I don't even remember, but I spent a long time working on that pantry on Wednesday night, so I didn't get good sleep, and that's my fault. But yeah, so that was Wednesday. Then Thursday, I worked in the office again, and that's when I took you guys to Menards on my lunch break. Fun times. Menards and Five Below, and I bought way too much junk because that is who I am as a person. So yeah, I did that. I do notice that when I don't sleep much, I tend to overspend because I'm like tired. I don't know. I guess like my impulse control is gone. I'm not sure. Okay, these two don't want to cooperate with me. That was interesting. These drills, while they fit nice and tight together, sometimes if one is just a little bit misplaced, it throws everything off. Anyway, so that was Thursday. And then Thursday night, I did a bunch more filming, a bunch more editing. I can't even tell you. I'm going to have to start, like, really paying attention to how many hours I spend a week doing this, because it's a lot. And it kind of sucks. Like, if you'll notice, the more videos that I put out, the less diamond painting I'm doing. And the more diamond painting I'm doing, the fewer viewed videos I'm putting out. So it's like, there's a direct correlation there, and it sucks. Like, I wish I could do both, but I can't. Anyway, yeah, so that was Thursday. Friday was the 14th. I worked from home, and I had that doctor's appointment, and my doctor did hook me up. Like, she was like, heck yes, let me make sure you're comfortable. And she gave me all the things. She also gave me some prescription strength lidocaine patches that I could put on, and it's supposed to kind of numb that area and help out. So I don't know. I'm excited about that. I think hopefully those feel pretty good. We'll see. I feel like maybe I should, like, test one out before I go, so I'm not, like, just walking around Paris being like, oh, this is the first time I've tried this. This is new. But we'll see. Anywho, so she did hook me up with all that stuff. So a muscle relaxer for the nighttime. And so I think hopefully I'll be feeling a little bit better. She put me on prednisone steroid, and I haven't started taking it yet because she only gave me like a 5 days worth of it. So we're going to have to ration. Okay. So I'm going to do that when we're on our way there. Yeah. Maybe I'll take the muscle relaxer before I get on the plane, because it'll make me tired and I could sleep. We'll see. Yeah, so that was Friday. And then, so Friday night after the doctor's appointment, I came home, and David and I just kind of relaxed a little, and we were talking for a bit. And finally it was like 8 o'clock. And I was like, David, I have to go do some prep for this party, because if I try to do it all tomorrow, there's no way. Like, there's no way I'm going to get it all done. So I spent, kid you not, 3.5 hours in the kitchen on Friday night prepping stuff. So it was just a lot of chopping, because I chopped up like 14 Roma tomatoes to make pico de gallo, to make guacamole, and to make rice. For the beans, like, I put tomatoes in almost everything. So I had to chop up a bunch of those, chopped up tons of onion, tons of jalapenos. I think I was like, there were just so many cloves of garlic, so many, and actually from one of the recipes, I learned a new way to mince garlic, and I will never sit down and chop a little garlic clove ever again. So now I want to share it with you guys. If you cook at all and you like garlic, then this tip is for you. Otherwise, just be patient. It's a quick tip, and it'll be over in just a second. But I have to share this with you because it was the coolest discovery ever. But I don't know. I never had one of these until we got married, and it was on our registry because it was something that I'd always wanted, but I just never bought for myself. It's a zester, aka a microplaner, which is basically just like, if you're looking at the screen, it's about yay long, and it looks like a cheese grater, but it's a lot smaller, a lot finer. Dude, all you have to do is peel your garlic clove and then basically zest it. There's no mincing involved, and it makes nice small pieces that distribute evenly through your food. It's so perfect. I'm never chopping garlic ever again. It is the only thing I'll use. Because even the garlic crusher is kind of a pain in the butt. Like, and it's like hard to clean, and it's like, it doesn't come out. Like, it just comes out as one big long, like garlic turd. I don't know. I hate it. And so I never thought about mincing it on a microplane or zester. genius. Never going back. And it was like easy to clean. You just take a brush, you know, go in the opposite way on the thing with some soap and you're all set. Anyway, that was very exciting for me. May not be as exciting to some, but it was exciting to me. Anyway, so that was 3.5 hours on Friday night. And then I did end up just going to bed, I think. I think actually I did do more editing and more posting. And what I did was I like scheduled the 3 videos that came out this weekend. I just scheduled those to drop when they did so that I didn't have to worry about it over the weekend. So that is one nice thing about YouTube is I can like, you know, upload videos ahead of time and then like schedule time for them to drop. Ideally, that's what I will do with a few unboxings while I'm gone. But we'll just have to see whether or not I'm able to do that and get those in before I leave. And then so that was Friday, and then Saturday I got up at like 8:30 and I had to get the carnitas in the crock pot by 9 if I wanted them to cook in time on low. So goodness, I'm so tired. I'm yawning now. This is your reminder that it's been almost 50 minutes, or 45 minutes, and you should probably stretch. Anyway, so I was prepping pretty much all day on Saturday. David was a huge help. He did all of the dishes while I was cooking throughout the day. He was kind of watching football in and out, but he went to the store for me, or went to our local bakery in the morning and got donuts for dessert, because I was like, I don't want to make dessert on top of this. So he picked up some donuts, and then he went and got ice for the party too. So I am very grateful that he was such a huge help, because I could not have done all of that stuff without him. I just simply would not have had the time. So we did that on Saturday. I was just prepping all day, but the party did end up going pretty well. The food was like a huge hit, but that was the other thing I was going to link for you, was that recipe for the sheet pan fajitas. See, I knew it would come to me. Okay, so hang on just a second. There's a little talking in the background. I'm going to go ahead and hang on. Okay, we're back. I just, I went and closed the door because David just got back from the store and he's on the phone with one of his buddies. So I could hear them talking and I was like, oh no. Anyway, so what was I going to say? So party Saturday. We ate a ton. It was great. And, so I was going to tell you, instead of going outside, what we ended up doing, if you've never played Jackbox is what it's called. Jack, like the name, box, like the cardboard box. Jackbox, all one word. They're like these game packs that you can buy and put on your TV. And it's $30, but you have it forever. Like, it's not a subscription. Like, it's a one-time fee of $30. And you get 5 games for that $30 that you can play. And it goes on your TV, and what you do is enter the room, and you have a room code, and then everyone uses their cell phone to log into the room, and then we can all play games together through the TV. So they have a ton of games. Our favorites are usually the trivia ones, but each pack is different. So there are like 8 different packs now. They're compatible with Fire Stick, Google TV, whatever you have, you should be able to access Jackbox. But it is really fun, and our friends love to play those games, and I mean, quite frankly, I do too. So that's what we ended up doing. And gosh, we were playing games until like 1:30 in the morning, and everybody came over at like 5:30 in the evening. So they were there a long time. We had a really good time. It was very fun. Yeah, highly recommend Jackbox. The party pack that we played was number 6. Like I said, they have 8 of them, so like 1 through 8. So the one we played was number 6, and I can't say enough good things. We really enjoyed it. So, yeah. Oof, I accidentally put down a whole row that I didn't mean to put down. So, anyway, I'm not great with this multi-placer yet. I don't know. I'm okay with it, and it's definitely better than shredding a plastic one. And it is nice and thin. My friend Judy actually sent this one to me. It's from AliExpress, and she did send me the link. So I will link it down below too, because I want you guys to be able to get it if you want it. It takes forever to come in, but when it does finally come in, yeah, it's great. But she was saying that the 9 placer is the only one that she likes. The other ones don't feel as thin, just this 9 placer. So if you're brave and want to do a 9 placer, I say the collective we because my friend Judy also sent this to me, but we recommend this one. And I do recommend this one. I would never link something and tell you to buy it if I didn't actually recommend it or use it myself. So that's all I'll say about that. I'm making a note on my computer to make sure that I link this. Anyway, yeah. So Sunday, we slept in after that party because it was super late, and y'all, I felt hungover on Sunday, and I don't know why. I didn't drink. I had 1 drink all night, and I was like, why do I feel hungover? But I think I was just tired because I cooked all day long. Like, because I made 3, I did the 2 salsas the night before, but on Sunday or Saturday, I made guac, I made rice, I made beans, I made carnitas, chicken fajitas, and the ground beef. So it was a lot. I did it to myself. It's my own fault. So there's that. Yeah, that's all I'm saying. I know that I did it to myself. I have no doubts there. But yeah, so we were pretty exhausted on Sunday. So we kind of had a slow morning, and then we sat down and we went through our entire itinerary for our honeymoon. So, just to kind of refresh you, David and I got married in February of this year. So it was the end of February 26th was our wedding day. And we got married in Key West. So our wedding was kind of like a little tiny vacation. But the types of jobs that David and I work, we can't take like 2 weeks off at a time. We just can't. And so we decided to go on our honeymoon later. Well, when we really started thinking about it, we wanted to go overseas, wanted to go to Europe. I really wanted to go to Italy. He also wanted to go to Italy. And we were like, well, we should stick one more country in there if we're going to be gone for this long. Why not? So that's when we decided to add Paris onto it. So all that to say, we were looking at when we wanted to go, and y'all, I am very sensitive to heat. I hate it. It's miserable to me. I'm also sensitive to crowds. That is miserable to me. And so we decided that we thought October would probably be the best time to go, because it wouldn't be too cold and wouldn't be too hot. And also we could just go during my birthday. So we picked that timing because of it, but then we didn't think about the fact that my work was implementing that system. But anyway, so that's neither here nor there. No big deal. But we went through our entire itinerary. I mean, hours. It took us hours. We just poured through it all because we didn't use a travel agent. We planned it ourselves. And that's the way I like it. Like, I don't want to be glued into stuff, you know. We did buy a few tours here and there, but for the most part, we're exploring on our own, which is how we like it. So don't come at me in the comments for not using it, for not using a travel agent. It's just not our vibe. Anyway, so we booked a bunch of stuff, and we had some reservations at some restaurants and things like that. And I said, you know, we should really, before we leave, we should get all this stuff together in a document so we can print it all out and make sure we have it all on us, just in case, you know. I like to be prepared at least, and I feel like, you know, I just don't know if our you know, phones are going to work perfectly. You know, you just never know. And so we need to get all that stuff printed. So we went through, and we just exhausted ourselves going through all of that. But it was good. I'm glad that we poured through it, and we have all the information now. Yeah, so, oh, by the way, I wanted to let you know that I do have some questions to ask you guys. I just happened to think about it because I was like, man, like usually I ask questions throughout, but I decided to save all my questions for later. And that way, you guys didn't like forget what your answers were. And, you know, because that's what I do. Like, I'll be watching somebody's like WIP and chat, and then I'm like, oh, I want to comment on this, this, and this. And then I realize I'm like, oh, crap. I don't even remember what I was going to say. And then if you leave a comment, then sometimes you have to go back and edit it anyway, or like leave another comment. So I figured I'd wait and I'd save all the fun. Goodness, that was hard to get up. It had a hole in it, so I had to pick it up. But I figured I'd save all the fun questions for later. But anyway, so we went through that itinerary, got everything ready. Then, y'all, this is what had happened. So I'm thinking maybe 15 more minutes, by the way. We'll see. So this is what had happened. So last night, we get to the end of our itinerary, and we're looking at, all right, when are we leaving Rome, and when are we coming home? Because Rome is our last stop. We're leaving from Rome and flying back. So our original flights we had purchased with Delta, but they were operated by KLM. And so, yeah, so we purchased them with Delta, and Delta changed our schedule like 5 times since we bought the flights back in May. And our latest schedule had us leaving Rome at 6:10 in the morning. In international, they were telling us to get there 3 hours prior. So I was like, you mean to tell me that I have to wake up from a day of being a tourist and I have to get to the airport at 3 o'clock in the morning, and I don't know the area and I don't know the lay of the land, and I have to ride public transportation at 3 o'clock in the morning? That'll be a no from me, dog. And so, and then what it had us doing was we were routed through Amsterdam, and then we were going to get off in Amsterdam, and we had a 9-hour layover in Amsterdam. And we were like, absolutely not. And it didn't get us home until, you know, pretty late in the evening on, like, I don't know, 8:30 or 9, which isn't that late, but it was late enough for me to go, I am not leaving at 6 o'clock in the morning and coming in at 9 o'clock at night. No, I'm just not doing it. Anyway, so that is what they tried to have us do. So we were like, okay, well, we need to call Delta and we need to make this change, because we tried to make the change online and it was like, this service can't be reached. And I was like, of course it can't. So it wouldn't let us make the change online. So we had to call. Well, we get on the call and it's like, you have a 27-minute wait time. And I was like, fantastic. So we got on the call at 7:30 and I was like, well, if they do get back to us, it'll be, because we really wanted to watch House of the Dragon, which comes out at 8 o'clock our time. And I was like, okay, well, let's just wait it out. We'll figure it out, you know, at 8 o'clock, and then we can watch House of the Dragon right after. So we were downstairs, we're in the basement, we're sitting there, we're ready to go. And the Delta lady picks up the phone. She sounded less than enthused to be working on a Sunday night. I'm sorry, lady, but, you know, if y'all are open, I'm going to take advantage of it and I'm going to call. And they were open, and she was not happy to be on the phone with us. So anyway, so I'm telling her about this, and she's like, oh, well, I can't make the change here. And I was like, oh, okay. Well, what do we need to do about the change? And she's like, I'm going to put you in contact with somebody over at KLM. They'll have to make the change because we like purchased the flight through Delta, but KLM was operating it, I guess. So she's like, they'll have to make the change for you. And I was like, okay. So David was on his phone for this. So we go right back to our hold music that we had just listened to for 30 straight minutes. And I was like, well, geez, it can't be that much longer, you know? Another 30 minutes goes by, you guys. So we are now at 8:30 p.m. And I was like, David, this is insane. I can't, no, this is nuts. So then I was like, well, why don't I just try calling KLM? Like, stay on the phone, stay on your phone. I'll try calling KLM. So I got through to KLM pretty quickly. Like, I waited on hold maybe 2 minutes, and then a representative was on the line, and she was very nice, and she was like, I'm sorry, I'm not sure who told you that, but we can't make the change for you since you purchased it through Delta. Delta has to make the change. And I was like, yeah, I had a feeling that was the case. And I was like, I just wanted to make sure. And so I'm glad that we did that because finally, like, it was like 8:45 and David was like, I'm hanging up. Like, this is crazy. So he waited a total of an hour and 15 minutes on the phone and got nowhere. So yeah, I was not a happy camper. And we were honestly thinking about just ditching those flights altogether and getting a refund for them, which we could do since they changed our schedule so many freaking times. And because originally we were supposed to leave at like 11:45, which is great because like you'll have the morning to like get up, have some breakfast, head over to the airport. Anyway, so David was like, I'll call them tomorrow. Like, just trust me. And I was like, I trust you. Like, just get it done. Whatever you got to do. So that's exactly what he did. He called them today, and they did make the changes for us. So we're now leaving, instead of being routed through Amsterdam, which I guess Amsterdam airport's having a lot of overcrowding issues right now anyway. So it's probably good that we avoided that one. We're flying into New York now, and then from New York to Chicago. So I don't know exactly how long our layover is, but it can't be, I think it might be 2 or 3 hours, but it's not going to be what it was before. So I'm happy about that. Yeah, it was rough. But I'm glad that they made the change. However, we got totally screwed on our way back because both of us are in middle seats and we're not with each other. And I was like, well, that's a shitty way to end your honeymoon. Like, yay. See you later, honey. I don't know. Maybe we'll be sick of each other by then, but I doubt it. I could spend a long time with David and never get sick of him. But, whew, I don't even know. Anyway, so that's, that's the honeymoon saga. That was our flight saga. It was crazy. Anyway, the 10-minute warning maybe. So today, I worked from home today. I ran to the bank because we realized that we wanted to get some euros before we headed over there because we don't have any euros. And if you do it through currency exchange, it's like really expensive. So we decided to do it through the bank. And so that's what I did. And I had to order it, and then it'll be here in 2 business days. So it should be here by Wednesday. That's not a big deal. Like, that's fine with me. So we will have money. We'll have cash monies when we go on our trip now. So that's good. And then my friend, at some point this week, maybe on Wednesday or Thursday, I think Thursday, we have to drop off the keys with my friend Ari because she'll be staying here with the boys while we're gone. What else? And I kept telling her, I was like, you should bring your pupper over here, and her boyfriend might come and stay. So I'm just excited. I'm glad that they're willing to watch them because that way we don't have to board them. Because they're well, they're both of them are very scared little creatures. So, I just did not want to have to board them. So happy we don't have to do that. What else? So tomorrow I am just going to be working my tail off to try to get ahead on both work and videos. So just going to be kind of a combination of both and try to work a little extra. I dropped a drill and I have no idea where it went. Oh, well. But yeah, I'm just going to have to try to do like a combination of extra work tomorrow to try to get everything done and ready to go. So I think that's a good idea for me so that Wednesday when I'm in the office, I can, focus a little more. And I don't know. I'm just going to try to get ahead. That's what I'm doing tomorrow. And then Wednesday, I have work in the office again. And then, of course, none other but physical therapy every freaking Wednesday night. So glad that my Wednesday physical therapy sessions are going to be over. This is the end of them. When I come back, I'm going to be on Sundays moving forward. So no more Wednesday night therapy. It's just really hard with traffic to get from work to therapy. And I like to stop at home first if I can, so I can change. It's just really hard to fit all that in. But so my doctor, I'm going to let my doctor know that my general practitioner hooked me up with some medicines. So hopefully I'll be a little more comfortable. And then he was telling me that we would go over some strategies for how I can, have a little bit more comfort while we're traveling. So I don't know what that's going to look like, but that's the plan for Wednesday. And Thursday, I'll be working in the office again. Yeah, so that the whole sitting in the plane while traveling is the thing that I'm super nervous about. And it's like a, I don't know, 8-9 hour flight or something like that. So the longest flight I've ever taken is 5 hours. So I'm nervous about how long the flight is, how long I'm going to have to be sitting, all of that good stuff. Yeah, I'm just a little freaked out, but not going to lie. Also, so 5-minute warning, actually, just FYI. So yeah, Thursday is my last day in the office. So I know I'm going to be a disaster when it comes to that because I'm having to button everything up for work. But then on top of it, when I come home, we have to do all of our packing, and all of our, and our laundry, right? So I'm just going to share this fact with you. So my glue dot is not sticky anymore, but what I'm going to do is use my tweezers to pull that glue dot out of my single placer. And once I get it out of there, then I can flip it right over and it'll be sticky again. So you can use both sides of your glue dot. Who knew? Anyway, I just thought I would share that. I can't remember where I learned that fact. I think maybe I just did it one day. I think I did. I was just like, I could use the other side of this, right? Anyway, so hopefully that's a little more sticky now. But anyway, I think I'm going to stop here with my diamond painting and start putting things away because I have to go get leftovers and stuff prepared for dinner. But what was I going to say? Okay. Yeah, so I'm working in the office Thursday, coming home, doing all the stuff. I know I'm going to be an actual wreck. I'm like, should I make a list? I don't know. I don't feel like making a list always goes very well for me. So I'm just like, do I? I don't know. I'm going to do one more color since I'm still talking. So I'm like, I don't feel like making a list always goes well for me because I always I just kind of start to get a little panicky. I don't know. And so I'm like, should I just start packing? I don't want to forget anything. I don't know. I'm a horrible packer. I always pack way too much or way too little. Can't seem to ever like get the right amount of clothing packed. I don't know why. And I'm nervous about, like, this is the longest trip I've ever been on too. I've never been away for quite so long. A new glue dot right before A/B drills was probably not my smartest idea, but it is working, so that's okay. What was I saying? I always lose my train of thought. Oh, the list thing. Anyway, so Friday, the 21st, we have to leave to go to the airport around like 2:30. And let me just tell you that I was originally supposed to work on Friday. And then I was like, oh, you know what? I think I'm going to take a half day. And finally, I was like, you know what? I'm taking the whole dang day off because I know I'm going to be a disaster. We have to leave for the airport at 2:30. I'm going to be a wreck in the morning. I'm not going to get any actual work done anyway. So I should just take the day off so that I can, you know, do things I want to do and finish getting ready because I know I'm not going to be done, you know? Like, I know I'm not going to be finished. So what I'm going to do on that Friday, though, just as a little treat yourself moment, I'm actually going to go get my nails done. Because I was trying to figure out, I was like, when am I going to have time this week to get my nails done? And the answer was not. Like, I'm not going to have time. So I'm going to go get them done on Friday right before we go. So they'll be nice and fresh and pretty. I'm not really sure what I'm going to do with them yet. I feel like, you know, when I get there, the moment will strike and I'll just figure it out, maybe magically. But I'm doing that Friday. And then, yeah, we leave for the airport 2:30 or 3-ish. Our flight leaves at 6:30. And then our flight arrives in Paris on Saturday morning at 9:30 local time Paris. So basically, we're losing the whole night, right? Like 6:30 p.m. to 9:30 a.m. their time. We're going to be very jet lagged. So we're losing that entire evening while we're on the plane. And I know we're going to try to sleep on the plane. David is great at that. I am not great at that. I'm actually wildly horrible at sleeping on planes. I can't do it. So I'm really nervous. I'm not as nervous for David because he can just zonk right out and he's good to go. But I can't do that. So I don't know. You guys. I'm nervous. Anyway, all I can think about now is this trip, but it's okay. Yeah. I think that's all I had. Oh, that was what I was going to say too, is like we did pay on the way there. We paid for like economy plus. So we didn't do first class because it was way too expensive, but we did pay for economy plus and we have a little bit of extra leg room, which I do think will help make me a little more comfortable. But the way back I am dreading because I have no idea what we're doing. Anyway, here's the little piece that I had on this, but yeah, the way back, I'm just not sure. It's going to be interesting, y'all. And I am just going to have to let you know all the nitty-gritty details of how it went when we get back. I don't know what that's going to look like or how soon I'll be able to film when I get back. I know that we're going to be jet lagged and exhausted. And I also know that that I have, oh my gosh, I just raised that up because I left. I also know that work is going to be really exhausting. So I'm like, oh, I probably, I don't want to commit to filming anything as soon as I get back, but I'll do my best. I really will. I promise. And with that, I think I'm going to go ahead and sign off here. I'm so glad that I finally got to kind of update you guys on everything that's been going on. I'm, you know, I kind of lead a boring life right now. But I got to share with you the menu of our party on Saturday. Anyway, yes, so I have lots of fun videos that I want to film that'll be coming out soon. I just, you know, just a matter of time and when I can fit them in this week. So I'll do what I can. Like I said, my goal tonight after we eat dinner is to come back and edit this video and finish up the rest of this section. I think I made pretty good progress for my hour and 15 minutes. I feel good about it. Yeah, I will see you guys in the next one. Thanks so much again for being here. If you are new here, I would love it if you would subscribe and hang out with me. We just hit, like I said, that 1,000 subscribers. Thank you guys so much. And I'll be doing a 1,000 subscriber giveaway, like I said before, very soon. It'll be a few weeks into November before I really announce that, because I want to make sure that all of the supplies that I need to make that giveaway happen are actually in-house. Like, I don't want to promise something to you that I don't personally have in my possession yet. So I'm waiting for a few things to deliver. So it'll probably be about a month, but either way, that giveaway is coming. It is for 1,000 subscribers, and I'm so grateful for you. So like I said, if you're new, I would love it if you'd hit that subscribe button, hang out, and give this video a thumbs up for me. It really helps the algorithm and helps out my channel. It's the easiest way to support. So thanks again, and I will see you in the next one. Bye. Hey guys, it's future me, and look, I finished my section I was working on. Our little pumpkin there. But really quickly, I just wanted to hop back on here. I know when I say goodbye, it's never actually goodbye. And ask you the questions that I was going to ask you. So the first one that I wanted to know was whether or not you like the idea of a Patreon. I know that it can be kind of a divisive topic, and I just want to make sure I'm doing right by all of you guys. So give me your thoughts on that. You know, hate it, love it, like it but can't support it, whatever the case may be, just let me know. And then on top of that, I wanted to know if you had ever heard of the If You Give a Mouse a Cookie book, and whether or not you are like me in the fact that I go above and beyond. Like, I always underestimate how long something is going to take. Do you guys do that? And do you underestimate how much something is going to cost, or underestimate, like, yeah, how long something is going to take? I don't know. I was just curious if that was something that you guys also did. And then I had one more question. Sorry, y'all. Had to go back to my laptop to remember what the question was. Because obviously I forgot to read them. Anyway, my last question was, if you have been on a honeymoon, where did you go? And if you could do it all over again, would you change it? And if you've not been on a honeymoon, where do you want to go? Yeah, so those are my questions. And now I really will leave you. I will see you in the next one. Bye.